Welcome back, slices of blue and gold glory. If you live and breathe Warriors basketball, buckle up and make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a single seismic update from Warriors. News Fan Report. Tonight, we've got an earth-shattering whisper echoing around the Bay Area. Whispers of a possible end to one of the most miraculous chapters in NBA history. Imagine a legacy so monumental that every three-point swish feels like poetry. Every clutch shot a timeless highlight, every championship parade an indelible imprint on basketball lore. Now imagine that legendary figure quietly revealing that his journey in that royal blue and vibrant gold might be coming to a close sooner than we ever imagined. Could this be the final curtain for a paragon of shooting, a maestro of the arc? Hold on to your hearts, Warriors faithful, because in a matter of moments we will unmask the player at the very center of this whirlwind. But first, let's set the stage and build the suspense because you won't want to miss a single pulse-pounding detail. It all began after a gut-wrenching, season-ending loss, the kind of defeat that lingers like a chill through every fiber of your bones. Fans flooded talking heads with incredulous disbelief as reporters dissected every angle of the game. Questions flew on social media about what went wrong. Was it a lack of bench production, a missed late-game defensive rotation, an injury here, or a breakdown there? Yet the real conversation that rattled the rafters centered on one man, a two-time MVP, a four-time scoring champion, the living embodiment of a splash revolution that forever changed the way basketball is played. He stepped up to the podium, his eyes glistening with a blend of melancholy and steely resolve, and uttered words none of us expected to hear this season, that his time on this storied franchise might be drawing to an end. The basketball world collectively held its breath. Could this cryptic moment signal retirement? The whispers suggest that this icon, whose gravity in the paint is almost as legendary as his long-distance artistry, has decided that this season would be his last dancing under the bright lights of the Chase Center. But there's more to this story than simply a farewell tour. Some insiders hint that the decision may not be as straightforward as hanging up the shoes forever. Instead, it could open the door to new possibilities, possibilities that stretch beyond the boundaries of this historic franchise. Could it be that the Warriors legend is contemplating leaving the Bay Area altogether? Is it possible that he envisions closing this chapter in golden waters and writing a new chapter elsewhere? For a player who once told us that he wanted to defy gravity and bend the universe, perhaps his fate is not yet sealed. To understand just how seismic this moment could be, let's rewind to his ascent. Drafted as an afterthought by many scouts doubted for his slender frame, he arrived on the Bay Area shores with a single-minded mission: to prove the world wrong. Before he even celebrated his first birthday as a pro, we witnessed a kid who could stroke a three-pointer from 30 feet in his sleep, a deep ball savant whose release was so pure it almost seemed unfair. Over the years, he collected accolades, like a modern-day knight collecting spoils, MVP trophies, scoring titles, all-star nods, and ring after ring after ring. But even legends face moments where they must choose between chasing history and carving out a life beyond the confines of the hardwood. Last night, standing before the stunned press corps and thousands of fans glued to their TV screens, he spoke in measured tones about gratitude and legacy. He recalled childhood dreams of becoming the next face of his city, of electrifying full houses, of inspiring a generation to pick up a basketball and believe that, no matter their height or stature, anything was possible. He reminisced about the early days playing in small gymnasiums, about late-night workouts where he honed that signature flick of the wrist, about phone calls with veterans who mentored him during those biracial summer leagues. He acknowledged the relationships forged in the locker room, the bonds he felt with teammates who became brothers, the championships that turned strangers into confidants. And then, with the kind of steely calm only a future Hall of Famer could command, he suggested that this season has been a beautiful ride, but all things must meet their sunset. And just like that, the seed was planted. Could this be the last time we shuffle out of this arena chanting his name? Of course, it didn't take long for the reaction to spiral. On Twitter, fan accounts erupted into a frenzy. "No way he's done," pleaded some, sharing clips of impossible shots, fadeaway jumpers, dagger threes that crushed spirits and changed games. Others speculated wildly. Maybe he's leaving for a new opportunity, perhaps even bringing his talents to a rival franchise. Commentators on national TV debated whether this signaled retirement or a fresh start, and betting lines began to shift as sportsbooks tweaked odds on his next team. But here's the thing. None of us really know, yet. And that's exactly why Warriors News Fan Report is here, breaking down every nuance from the perspective of a die-hard fan. Let's dive into the impact this decision could have on the franchise. That has become synonymous with swagger and splash. Consider that just 2 seasons ago, this same player led the team to an improbable title run, carrying a cast of role players through the gauntlet of beaten and battle-worn contenders. Remember how in Game 6 of that conference finals, when every metric suggested doom, he poured in 37 points assassinating defenses as if he were auditioning for a superhero movie? Or that performance earlier this year when he dropped 54 points. On a rival team in electric fashion, draining pull-up threes from the logo? Those moments created a tapestry of memories woven into the fabric of Warriors lore. Now, imagine the locker room without that steady hand, that veteran voice commanding respect. Who picks up the mantle? Who steps into the breach to guide the young prospects and hungry wings waiting in the wings for their shot at greatness? From a front office standpoint, the ramifications are equally staggering. If this icon truly steps away or even bolts for greener pastures, the Warriors would need to rethink their entire roster construction. They would no longer be able to rely on his gravity-drawing double teams, no longer a built-in available option for spacing. That means more pressure on the rising star at point guard to create offense out of nothing. That means reimagining the bench rotation so that key minutes don't crumble under the weight of inexperience. And let's not forget the ripple effect on salary cap space. His retirement or departure could free up a max contract slot, providing a path to chase another superstar or retain crucial role players. Could this be a calculated move orchestrated by the front office, laying the groundwork for a midseason trade that sends shockwaves through the league? Only time will tell. Of course, we must consider the human element. This player is not just a human highlight reel. He's a person who has grown up before our very eyes on national television. From the gangly freshman who laid bricks in pre-draft workouts to the family man who now uses his platform to champion social justice initiatives, his evolution transcends the box score. He's opened public schools, donated millions to inner city basketball courts, and stood up for causes that transcend sports. To see that journey reach what could be its twilight right here in the Bay Area is almost surreal. And yet, we have to ask, what motivates a legend to walk away? Is it the physical toll? Those nagging ankle sprains? Those lingering knee aches that remind him each sunrise that he's not 23 anymore? Is it the desire to chase another ring in a new locale, perhaps aligning with a roster built around his unique skill set? Or is it simply the longing to experience life off the court while he still can, knowing that the body will eventually demand rest? As the nights grow warmer and the whispers grow louder, you can almost feel the tension building at every pickup game and three-point clinic. Youth players hooping in public gyms look at the empty Warriors practice court and wonder, will he ever return? Or is this farewell tour a reality we must accept? Local radio shows dedicate entire hours to hashing out trade proposals, while die-hard season ticket holders debate whether to renew their seats for next season. Every exclamation point on a social media post, every cryptic "stay tuned" video, clip from the team's official channels sends the collective pulse racing. And amid all the speculation, one thing stands crystal clear. If this superstar's journey truly ends here, it marks the conclusion of an era in which the entire basketball world learned to look at the three-point line in an entirely different way. Yet, let's not write a eulogy just yet. The rumor mill suggests that retirement could be merely a misdirection, a prelude to a seismic trade request that would send shockwaves across the entire NBA. Picture a scenario where he doesn't actually walk away, but instead makes it known that he's willing to consider offers from around the league. Maybe he believes he has 2 or 3 years left to contend, and he craves a new environment, a fresh challenge that revitalizes the soul. If news outlets begin to report that his heart is set on, say, playing for a storied franchise in the East, perhaps the New York Knicks or the Boston Celtics, a new set of equations emerges. Suddenly, teams with cap space start circling, figuring out how to reconfigure their rosters to make room for a 2-time MVP who can still average 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. The Warriors would then have to weigh immediate return versus long-term stability. Do they accept a draft-heavy haul that replenishes their core, or do they demand a king's ransom in young talent, knowing full well that none of it can replicate that unique chemistry? These conversations unfold under a microscope, with every detail dissected on ESPN, every poll on Twitter debated by anonymous accounts, and every podcast host jockeying to break the next insider piece. It's a maelstrom, a storm that could either leave Golden State bruised and reborn or utterly bereft of identity. Let's flip it again. What if he chooses to sign a one-day contract with the Warriors, officially retire as a member of the franchise, then seamlessly transitions into a front office or mentoring role? That's been done before. Think Dirk Nowitzki, think Tim Duncan, stars whose entire careers were synonymous with one team. In that case, the organizational culture remains intact. The title of Warriors legend is cemented forever. And the void on the court is admittedly large, but perhaps offset by a morale boost that comes from knowing he's still in the building, guiding the next generation. That path would buy the front office time to incubate talent, recalibrate the roster slowly, and craft a vision for the future anchored in a hybrid of old and new. We might see Patrick Baldwin Jr. or Kevin Looney taking on amplified roles, or a high draft pick used to secure a cornerstone who blends shooting and defense in a way that fits Kerr's system. It's a delicate dance, honoring legacy while pragmatically plotting the next dynasty. Now, as Warriors fans, how do we process this whirlwind? Do we celebrate the wings of retirement? Or do we hold our breath for a blockbuster trade announcement? Do we scurry to the Nike store to buy a future Hall of Famer t-shirt? Or do we scour the free agent rumor mill for the next darling of the draft who might fill that vintage void? In short, it's a mental tug-of-war between mourning and scheming, between nostalgia and anticipation. We're not just speculating about basketball, we're speculating about our own identities as fans. The pregame rituals, the tickets, the highlight shows, the "is he going to hit that buzzer beater?" conversations in every bar. When a giant departs, even potentially, we collectively wince, wondering if our personal attachment to the game will ever feel the same. Through all of this, one element remains unshakable: the Warrior. Way transcends any single player, however transcendent he might be. The ethos of ball movement, selfless play, unrelenting defense, those are the threads that tie every era together. Even if this legend's last shot in the Bay Area falls short, the blueprint he helped refine remains a lodestar for future generations. It's the kind of cultural inheritance that doesn't wrinkle with time. It endures as long as there's a basketball net to hang from. So, while we may mourn the potential loss of our de facto franchise face, we also stand braced to carry that torch forward, to cultivate the next Splash Brother, the next stalwart defender, the next three-point sniper who storms the league. Now, Warriors Nation, here is where you come in. Do you believe this chapter truly ends with his last game here? Or is he merely writing the preface to a bigger, more audacious sequel, one that extends beyond the confines of the Bay? How will you channel your passions? Will you rally behind the next young hero who emerges from the bench? Or will you hold on to the memories of every cross-court dime, every signature celebration, every viral moment that made an entire generation? Believe in the extraordinary? Because no matter what unfolds, one thing is certain: the debate will rage. Water cooler conversations, barbershop debates, and late-night sports podcasts will buzz for weeks, maybe months, dissecting every nuance, every cryptic tweet, every subtle turn of phrase in interviews. And we'll be right there. Warriors News. Fan Report, chronicling it all from first speculation to final resolution. So, what do you think about all of this? For me, I'm torn between the excitement of a new era, seeing how this franchise reinvents itself, and a profound sense of gratitude for the journey we've shared. The mere thought of a warrior-inspired future ignites my passion, yet a twinge. In my chest aches at the possibility of losing that unmistakable spark. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below and continue this conversation that defines us as a fan base. If you've hung on every word of this breakdown, do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your fellow Dubby Nation diehards, and make sure you're subscribed to Warriors News Fan Report with notifications on, because once the next chapter unfolds, you'll want to be here for every layup, every three, every game-changing moment. Until next time, stay golden, stay loyal, and remember, whether our hero remains or departs, the warrior spirit endures forever.